Hi there and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the rather interesting and amusing case of an Algerian criminal who was facing extradition to Germany but managed to flee from Portuguese police while on his way to his extradition hearing in court. So the person involved in this case, can we call him a gentleman? I don't know. His name is Abdelkader Eddouh. From now on, I'm not going to be saying that name anymore, so I'm just going to be calling him the Algerian guy. So this guy is 36 years old. Obviously, he's from Algeria, and he had been legally resident in Portugal since 2022. And the story with him is that for some reason he ended up in Germany in 2023. Where he presumably committed some kind of offence because he was taken into police custody in Germany. However, while in the police station, he staged a daring escape attempt, which was successful, by setting fire to the furniture in the police station, and he then fled the scene, never to be seen again by the German police. Germany obviously wasn't too happy about this guy, and they issued an international arrest warrant for him, or a European arrest warrant, for the arson in the police station, and that's been in the system since 2023. However, this guy was able to return to Portugal, and in May of 2024 he was actually able to renew his residence permit in the country, which for me is just completely absurd. It's amazing to me that there are no kinds of checks being made, even to establish something as fundamental as whether this guy is a wanted criminal. You know, he's got an international arrest warrant. I really don't know how much worse it can be than that for a person, but yet he still received the approval in Portugal for a residence permit, to continue his residence permit. It's really mind-boggling. I don't know what's being done with IMA and their systems. You know, one would hope that they would be on top of this kind of thing. I know that, for example, when my wife came here, she's a non-EU national, and when she came here to get her visa, which was connected to family reunification, to get her residence permit, we needed to present a criminal record check, and that was done both in Portugal and in her country of origin. So I don't know how this guy is managing to basically get away with it, and to my mind it's a little bit embarrassing for the Portuguese authorities. However, the embarrassment unfortunately doesn't stop there. It gets a little bit worse than that, because this guy was on Sunday at Lisbon airport waiting on a flight to an unknown destination. Well, I presume it's known to him, but it's not known to us in the media where he intended to fly to. And somehow the system flagged his passport as having this arrest warrant. Thank God there's some system in Portugal that does this. And the police were obviously called to the scene, and they went to the departures lounge of the airport and they apprehended him and took him into custody. They knew that he had an arrest warrant from Germany, and therefore he would be processed for extradition. All well and good. Things started to go pear-shaped on Tuesday, however, when this guy was due to have an extradition hearing in Portuguese court. So he was put into a police van in handcuffs, and he was being driven to the court where he would have his extradition hearing and presumably was going to be sent back to Germany. I think it's safe to say that he didn't really want to go back to Germany desperately, because somehow he managed to burst out of the police van, still in handcuffs, and run away through the streets of Lisbon in handcuffs. Somehow he managed to take off the handcuffs while he was running, which is, I mean, they should make that an Olympic sport, because I'm pretty impressed with that. I think most people couldn't take off a pair of handcuffs even if they were sitting stationary and had some tools. But he managed to get out of them while running at speed, because the police gave chase and he lost them. He managed to outrun them and evade them in the crowd, and therefore he just disappeared into the ether. Now, obviously, this isn't exactly a thing that the PSP are likely to be praised for in Portugal, especially on the back of the incident which set off many riots in Lisbon, which is still fresh in people's memory, and that also involved PSP agents. I wonder if the PSP agents have some kind of physical fitness test or something. I mean, one would think that they would be able to outrun a guy in handcuffs. I mean, if your hands are, shackled, it's difficult to run well, but hey, maybe they don't. Maybe they have an excuse. I don't know. Let's not judge them too harshly. Suffice it to say that the Algerian guy escaped. In the most recent update, which came from 11 a.m. this morning, which is Wednesday the 13th of November, there was a news report that the GNR in the Algarve have recaptured him, or possibly recaptured him. They're not 100% confident because they apprehended somebody in the Algarve that looks like him and was undocumented. Previously, this guy had a history of living in the Algarve with his British girlfriend, so it kind of makes sense that he would have been there. I think we'll have to wait and see what the information is to get full clarity on it, whether or not he's been recaptured. But certainly the police in Portugal would recoup a little bit of face there if they managed to catch him quite quickly. If he just disappeared permanently, it would be profoundly embarrassing. But anyway, this case raises just a lot of questions. I mean, first of all, we have the obvious one about police competence and fitness in Portugal. The PSP didn't exactly cover themselves in glory in this case. If their agents are unable to, run after and catch up with a handcuffed man in the middle of Lisbon, then I think that those agents maybe need to review their physical fitness, because it's not really very impressive, to be honest. And secondly, and most importantly, why was this guy issued a legal residence permit renewal in May of 2024 when he had an international arrest warrant in his name? It really alarms me, what kind of procedures IMA are using to renew residence permits and issue residence permits. If things are so lax and disorganized that you can't even detect somebody with an international arrest warrant or a European arrest warrant in their name, then how bad must it be? And how many other foreign criminals are legally resident in Portugal? And how much more dangerous is that making our society? To me, it's something of extreme concern, this case, that someone like this, a foreign criminal, he's obviously a migrant criminal, has been allowed to legally live here and has passed through all the relevant procedures legally. If he was just totally illegal, it wouldn't be so bad to me. But the fact is, he's not. He got his residence card just like everybody else. So I think IMA has some serious questions to answer in this case about what they are doing with their procedures and whether or not they are actually thoroughly checking for criminality in the background of applicants. Alright, well that brings us to the end of this amusing video. We will see whether this guy actually has been recaptured or it's just somebody who looks like him. That will emerge in the fullness of time. But even if it is him, it's still an embarrassing case for the Portuguese police and also for the Portuguese immigration authorities. I think that's pretty much indisputable. Anyway, I hope people enjoyed the video and found the information in it helpful. I will see you soon in the next one.